Hi everyone and welcome back to the Offsite channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at the top 10 entry-level traits for trainee truss designers and how they have the ability to be successful within your organization.
Yeah, I mean, unlike anywhere else in the industry, there's no formal school you can go to. And most of the training that the designer gets is totally at the expense of the component manufacturers. So where do these folks come from, right? Well, first of all, the top 10 lists, this is in no specific order, okay? Number one, math skills, right? Math is essential to truss and building component design, especially geometry, trigonometry, and what we call truss math.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to be able to calculate a heel height, for example, is an important skill to have because your software won't always help you out with that. So being able to do that manually, you should know how to do that.
Yep, and adding in feet inches, sixteenths, and load transfer, and especially when it comes to loading.
Absolutely. So leading the second is the ability to see in 3D. So you're not always going to have the computer doing that for you. You might have paper plans, for example, that have come in old school, and you have to be able to visualize the project in 3D from 2D plans. So that's an important skill still to have.
Absolutely, and experience can teach you what to look for, but it can't teach you how to see it, right? I mean, the software can show it to you, but can you see it up here?
Exactly. Still an important attribute to have, Chris.
Absolutely. Work experience, well, frankly, the most sought after folks already have some experience framing in the field and whatnot.
Yeah.
They got a basic terminology knowledge and specifications, different types of terminology that's unfamiliar.
Yeah. Another routine, Chris, is to promote from the shop floor, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know, this type of experience, while not a requirement, it certainly speeds up the process and lowers the overall cost of professional development.
That's the route I got in, Chris, so it can't be too bad, surely.
Me too.
Exactly. There you go. So the next one is creativity, and it's the ability to take the architectural parameters and frame it out in the most cost-effective manner. And there's, Chris, many ways to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we've all heard the saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And the same is true for framing a building. Each design has a unique aspect to it, and creativity goes a long way to making the cost lower.
Yeah, absolutely. We try and standardize as much as possible, but that always can't be the case.
Nope. So leading into the next one, of communication. Well, more times than not, collaboration is necessary with the building designer. Especially this is true on commercial and multifamily type projects.
Yeah, and obviously being able to communicate both internally and externally is important. You should be able to communicate the job status to the production department if they're wondering where it is, and externally to the client and their design team.
That's right. And positive communication is essential to success and ensures the customer is getting what they pay for. Guessing is just not okay and can make or break your profit margin.
And it leads straight into building relationships, isn't it, Chris? You know, having good relationships with people makes it easier to communicate with them, in my opinion. If you've got a good relationship with production or sales, you'll be able to converse with them much easier. But you also have to be able to communicate and build relationships externally with commercial clients that you deal with all the time.
Absolutely. I look at relationship building like a retirement account where you got to build and continually make deposits to support you long term. And every opportunity you have to speak with a customer, architect, engineer, builder is an opportunity to make another deposit and invest in that relationship.
Yeah.
Attention to detail. This is a given, right? Well, not so fast, right? Most exceptional designers are perfectionists. They have an uncanny attention to detail. And assessing this early on will tell you if the folks you're considering investing and is worth that investment.
Yeah, I mean, coming down to counting nuts, bolts, the metalwork, for example, using that as an example because it's such a small element, but such a crucial element to get right because it's what joins it all together, Chris. And if you don't have the right hanger there, it can hold the job up. So you've been able to have that attention to detail is critical in every aspect.
Yeah, and that detail is critical to level of satisfaction of the customer and the profit margin. And execution to detail leads to repeat business.
Absolutely. So next one is personality type. So in my opinion, the environment that you're going to be working in is fast paced. There's a lot of demands put on you, but you have to be able to remain calm at the same time internally. You can't let it on top of you. So being able to work in an environment that can seem chaotic, but also remaining calm is an important personality type.
Right. And knowing if they're people oriented or task oriented. It's better to know this ahead of time before you invest precious resources. So consider spending a little money up front and classifying them using an assessment.
Yeah.
There's so many out there. I mean, I was successful in my experience when I was on my own. So
yeah, absolutely. Next one is
multitask. Ah, yes. Well, the designer is the heartbeat of the company. Next week, we're going to dedicate our entire session to this one topic about what the designers do. But the bottom line is that there's so many things they have to have knowledge of, from company values, sales requests, building codes, software, forth and so on.
Yeah, and as well, Chris, we being able to do both internal and external tasks, being able to make sure the design goes through the process from design to production, as well as issuing that to external, people for sign off of the design, for example.
That's right. And did I mention they also need to produce accurate designs for the facility to build?
Yeah.
Tune in next week. We're going to dedicate our whole session to this specific topic.
The last but not least is the willingness to learn, Chris, isn't it? It's a real big fundamental one. This being able to learn new software suites, being able to learn and take on what the experienced peers are telling you, because it is important. They've done it for a long time. So being able to take on what you're being told and not undermine that in any way, in fact, because that can be detrimental as well. Learning the building codes, knowing what you can and can't do. And then the ability to speak to the framers on site and on how they're actually putting things together. They might get queries coming from site. It's good to have a little bit of knowledge there as well.
That's right. I mean, let's face it, folks. Designers don't grow on trees. Open-mindedness then becomes the key. As managers, we have to make time to grow our own designers.
Absolutely. So that was, in our opinion, the top 10 key attributes to a trainee truss designer. There isn't a definitive list either, but it's 10 that we would say very, very critical. You need to get these things right. If you can't get these things right, then it's going to be challenging to be successful, I would say.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned next week.
Absolutely.
Multitasking.